Hello and welcome to another game review video. Last week, I got a gift on Steam from the makers of Starbound. It was a 15% discount to this new game called Wargroove. At first it looked basically like a fantasy advanced wars, and in one hand it was. Most similar is the movement of units and the battle screens, but I'm getting off track. Let me tell you what I actually think of this game. Just by starting the game, I was drawn in by its visual style. It is really memorable, with the characters being quite distinct, not just by the way they look, but also their animations that do a great favor to the overall characterization. You can tell a lot about a character's personality just by the way they attack. At the start of the game, I got put into the boots of this vampire lady, and all she did in combat was backhand guards to utterly disintegrate them. Even without her talking, I could clearly see that she is powerful and aware of that, and that I should be afraid of fighting her later on when I control the main protagonist. I applaud this. But it's not just the main characters. The overall graphic design is stylized and reminds me of Japanese cartoons mostly, even some of the voice lines and grunts that the characters do from time to time, which I didn't find off-putting. It was actually quite cute, most adorable among them being the dog units that are just so adorable. Even the main antagonist looks like a My Little Pony reject character. The good-natured feel of it all is reflected in the story too, which starts off with the king being assassinated, and the news of that honestly did not get the reaction that I expected. To the main characters, it was more like a minor inconvenience than the monarch actually having been killed. However, from the start of the game, there was some hard foreshadowing to a grand revelation, which was basically the main motivation for me to continue playing this game. And play the game I did. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The gameplay seems simple at start, but even then, as I learned about counters and critical strikes, I noticed that the strategy part of the game is actually much more complex than it seemed. Archers might be weak, but if you place them in a woodland block and shoot without moving, they do a critical attack that can actually do a lot of damage. Or, for instance, pikemen doing more damage if they are adjacent to a unit of the same type. There is a lot to remember. Oh, and not to forget the hero units. They are all stronger and got more health than the other units, but they have special abilities too, like summoning other troops or healing themselves and other units. There are many different factions in this game. However, they are different just in the way they look. In practice, you just play the same faction but with reskinned units. The lack of different stats or troops for each faction is offset by the complexity of the counters they have. The best way to describe it is to compare it to a big game of rock, paper, scissors. Troops are weak or strong against different ones, and as I mentioned, they get bonus critical damage if a certain request is fulfilled. And together with the terrain bonuses, makes this game deviously more complex than it seems. I just wish they could have added a skip button to the fight resolutions. As they are, it's just too much to watch, one and the same animation again and again without a way to skip it, which became so damn tedious after a while. On the other hand, it's impressive that this game actually has a multiplayer mode with up to 4 players concurrently, which should be much more fun than playing the single player campaign. Sadly for me, I don't have any friends that own the game and I don't really want to play a multiplayer strategy game with random people. That's a bedroom only thing for me. So, to wrap this all up, Wargroove is quite a fun strategy game and it is quite worth the money. However, I would love to see a phone version of it considering its simplicity and it not being graphically demanding. Oh, and before I finish, thank you if you watched the video up until here. Do consider leaving a like or sharing it so other people can find it. And do subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. I try to make them every week. And of course, goodbye and thanks for watching.